Hi there and welcome to the last month for the year 2022. Of course, this is Prime Flash with me, Dolly Ngonde, on the anchor. Let's begin the news this morning with a story of national interest as we now let you know that Cameroon is amongst many other African nations that have been invited by U.S. President Joe Biden to partake in the U.S.-Africa Summit. The summit, which is the second of its kind under his administration, is scheduled to take place from December the 13th to the 15th this year. Let's get details in this report with Eileen Sama.
The announcement of Biden's invite to President Paul Biya of the Republic of Cameroon ahead of the U.S.-Africa Democracy Summit was made by two senior members of the Biden-Harris administration. The U.S. National Security Council Senior Advisor for the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit, Ms. Dana Banks, and U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs, Robert Scott. Cameroon, alongside other African countries, have been officially invited for the forthcoming President Biden's U.S.-Africa Summit, scheduled for December 13 to the 15th, 2022. It is worth noting here that Cameroon was snubbed by the U.S. during the last edition of the summit due to its horrible human rights records. However, some 4 African countries have not been invited to the high-level meeting on democracy this year. They include Burkina Faso, Sudan, Mali, and Guinea. It is worth mentioning that the summit is the second of its kind under the administration of U.S. President Joe Biden and is one of Biden's top foreign policy priorities in the coming months. Nonetheless, Deputy Assistant Secretary in the Bureau of African Affairs, Robert Scott, revealed that on day 1 of the summit, there will be a series of forums including an African and Diaspora Young Leaders Forum, a civil society and a peace, security, and governance forums, as well as discussions on climate and health. Robert Scott added that the event will gather youth leaders, civil society, political actors, and climate advocates from around the world. Worthy of note here is the fact that since he took over office as President of the United States, Biden made it clear that renewing democracy in the U.S. and around the world is essential to meeting the unprecedented challenges of our time. Recall here that in December 2021, President Biden held the first of 2 summits for democracy, which brought together leaders from government, civil society, and the private sector in to renew democracy at home and confront autocracies abroad.
That was Eileen Sama on that report. We talk related news where the population of Ngonde Titi now has a new chief in the name and person of Achia Nawango Manfred. During the installation ceremony, the senior divisional officer for Ndian, Mr. Balena Gilbert, while presiding over the ceremony, has also called on the people to work in close collaboration with the new chief so peace can be restored in that part of the country. Let's get details in this report with Kuma Honore.
The village is today witnessing the coronation of Chief Justice Achia Nawango Manfred as the next heir to a throne which became vacant since August 12, 2018. The immediate priority of the new chief will be to see to it that he unites the disputing villages in Ngonde Titi subdivision for peace and normalcy to return.
Having been officially installed this day, I want to first of all thank God, my ancestors, and the indigenes of Ngonde Titi.
Addressing the population, the senior divisional officer for Ndian Division, Gilbert Balena Gibai, urged all those who have taken up arms against the state to drop their weapons, come out of their hiding, and contribute for peace to return to Ndian Division. He called on the newly enthroned chief to carry out his duty without fear of anyone, as the administration is strongly behind him. The senior divisional officer equally called on the chief to create a vigilante group and work together with other chiefs to help the defense forces to ensure the security of people's lives and property, especially as the Ngonde Titi road is under construction.
Considering the situation that is very difficult for him, it is to be brave, courageous, devoted in order to succeed to his mission. In particular, he has to put in place vigilante groups, and he has to work also with the other chief.
In his speech, Chief Justice Acha Nawongo Manfred said his immediate plan of action is to restore peace and bring development to Ekondotiti subdivision, often considered as the hub of Ndian division.
Our plan of action is to unite and reconcile Ekondotiti and see how we can develop our Ekondotiti. Ekondotiti, of course, is the economic capital of Ndian division.
The coronation ritual took place in strict respect of the customs and traditions of the Balondos and was characterized with cultural manifestations from traditional groups from Dian Division, Meme Division, and the Northwesterners residing in the Ekondotiti subdivision. Chief Justice Acha Nawongo Manfred is a fourth great majesty of the Court of First Instance in Buya. He is described by many as a humble servant, God-fearing, and a leader endowed with several potentials.
You're watching the Primetime News on My Media Prime Television. And now, as the 16-day activism campaign against gender-based violence continues to run globally, stakeholders in the fight against GBV in Limbe, southwest region of Cameroon, have joined their counterparts worldwide in celebrating the International Human Rights Defenders Day. And Catherine Ikongwe took interest in that report and put the following for us.
With the crisis in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon, gender-based violence continues to increase on a daily basis. With the influx of persons moving to other areas for safety, child trafficking, domestic violence, rape, just to name but these, has been the order of the day for these people. It is within this framework that a group of civil society organizations under the banner of the Platform to Fight Against Gender-Based Violence of FACO launched a 16-day sensitization campaign with the aim to educate the population on what gender-based violence is and how to combat it in the society.
We have the crisis in the two Anglophone regions, and we know that the level of gender-based violence has increased. People going and picking other people's children from the rural areas and bringing them to city and maltreating them, and also people who are vulnerable, people who don't have ladies, who don't have a place to stay. They tend to come and whoever offers them a place, they move in. But at the tail end, those men or the people that are keeping them start violating them.
The sensitization campaign in Limbe coincided with the International Human Rights Defender Day, with a focus on women and the girl child on the forefront. The campaign began with a solidarity walk on the Women Empowerment Center in Maiwan, sailing through Half Mile, Church Street, Newtown, and ended at the Senior Divisional Office in Down Beach, where the women were received by the First Assistant Senior Divisional Officer for FACO, Madame Marilyn Yevon, who cautioned the gender activists to report cases of gender-based violence in their communities to the police and other structures put in place by the government.
Human Rights Defenders Day. This day actually is the International Women's Rights Defenders Day. Everybody you see here today is actually a women's rights defender, and this is our day. You know, it started on the 10th. It started on the 25th of November. Today is ended on the 10th of December. So for the FACO division, we are operating under a platform.
The sensitization campaign equally saw the presence of the gender-based violence desk of the Limbe Central Police Station, who sensitized the women on the activities of the gender-based violence desk.
So many cases there, we treat them, mostly concerning the ones like rape, we forward it to the state council chambers here in Limbe. Concerning domestic violence, most of those cases, because since we are there, we are not there to separate marriages. Most of those domestic violence, we advise them and we bring them together and they go back to their various home happily. Activities to commemorate 16 days of activism against gender-based violence in the southwest region of Cameroon were launched on Friday, November 25th and will run through December 10, 2022.
Now That was Catherine Ekongwe on that report. Now, in the same light, in a bid to providing a quiet environment for survivors of GBV, the Boya-based non-profit Reach Out has opened up an avenue dubbed Esther's Brave Space with the aim of empowering women in particular in that community. Let's go now to the Southwest region and talk with Emanuela C, who took interest in this report.
Kicking off with activities of activism to end gender-based violence, Reach Out, a non-governmental organization, has opened a temporary accommodation center called Esther's Brave Space for survivors of GBV and persons suffering from trauma. According to Esther Umam Jomo, the project is for women peace builders in Cameroon.
This initiative is as a resilience of women peace builders who have borne the brunt of the conflict which has rocked and which continues to rock our two restive regions. So many women have suffered. They've been traumatized and there is need for psychosocial needs. And we do not have adequate structures, especially for survivors of GBV.
The Peace House, organizers say, is open to listen and counsel over 120 survivors of GBV in the next 20 months.
The Peace House, as we call it, is a place where women will come and have some quietude, get some pathway to healing.
A project appreciated by all who agree that as a result of the armed conflict in the northwest and the southwest regions of Cameroon, women and girls who have been traumatized need such spaces.
So this is only going to complement all the other activities that we've been doing. The peace, the peace we've been talking about, going to Yaoundé, calling women from the rural masses. People really don't know what they go through. But when all of us will attend to this, come to this center, we'll get to know the kinds of things that women are going through. And it's a place that is going to give them a lot of solace.
The Peace House project launching was graced by the paramount ruler of Boya, stakeholders and partners. The Peace House's hope to make the world a better place for all.
And now we can bring the news to you without telling you what is happening in Qatar. Away from the football matches, let's see how others are maximizing their talents and using this platform to showcase it, internationally. Cameroonian singer Vanessa is one of them who is breaking the records as he has featured in the Belgian national television. In this report, we get details on how he has been succeeding with that.
The 2022 FIFA World Cup is here not